Shout out to everybody coming through for the first time. Hey, if you are on you're on YouTube. If you are watching on YouTube, do me a favor and hit subscribe. Go ahead and hit the like button, comment below. Y'all, we leaning into YouTube, my Instagram family. I want y'all to know we're on YouTube right now. YouTube.com/STEMedia. That's right, we got the username STEMedia. Go STEMedia. If you are on Instagram, it's all good. You can chill on Instagram. But go ahead and go to YouTube real quick and subscribe, man, because we're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year. You know, that's when they give you all the special perks. But nevertheless, whether you're watching this on Instagram or you're watching this on YouTube, you're in for a treat today because we're going to be talking about your own creativity, leveraging the intersection of fashion and technology. Let me go ahead and introduce to y'all our guest, Miss Coy Griffin. She is a TEDx speaker, author, and the founder of the fashion technology media company. Your own creativity. Your own creativity. Yep. Fashion technology is the integration of the latest technological innovations with the creative world. Coy has been featured in Blavity, New York Fashion Week interviews, and recently presented an interactive fashion installation in Accra, Ghana. Oh, we want to hear about that. She is the author of the fashion tech book, Leveraging Tech, which instructs fashion practitioners on how to adopt cutting-edge innovations to grow their businesses. Coy promotes the education of fashion technology and STEAM, which is science, technology, engineering, arts, and math, opportunities in underserved communities. So y'all need to do me a favor really quick, all right? And hit that, I see you, Vaughn. Hit that like button, hit the comments, hit the hearts. If you're on YouTube, definitely gotta show some love as I present to some and introduce to others our guest for this evening on STEMedia Live. Everybody, this is Miss Coy Griffin. She is an active member of the STEMedia network and community. It's so awesome to have you. Welcome to STEMedia Live. Thank you for being here.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Yeah. So we're going to do this as we normally do. We're going to kick things off by asking you our icebreaker question, Coy, and that is, give us a random fun fact about yourself. Something that a person who read and heard your bio wouldn't expect to know about Coy.
Yes, a random fun fact about me is growing up, I used to do boxing. I used to box.
Did you? So
yes.
You could throw hands. Yes. Basically, you used to throw hands.
Basically, yeah.
Oh, man, that's what's up. How long did you do it?
I did it for about 2 years. And
then
I transitioned to like cheerleading and then a little bit of soccer, but yeah.
Oh, man, you went from a combat sport to cheerleading. Yeah. And that's interesting. Y'all gotta give her some love for that. So the question is, though, like, should a person try you right now, though? Or you still got a little bit of, like, jab in you?
I've been boxing a little bit more since quarantine. I whipped out the gloves after like a few years, so I still got it. So don't come for
me. Hey, there you go. Hey, as Toby Nwigwe says, try Jesus, but don't try Coy, because she can fight. Awesome. Vaughn giving you the claps. That's really dope. I've actually have been considering taking up boxing, at least learning it. And so we'll see when things open back up if that's something I can work into the schedule. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. So let's talk about it. We're going to be talking about leveraging technology and fashion and all of that. But give us a little bit of the early days of Coy. Like, where are you originally from? You know, what was the origin story of Miss Griffin?
Yeah, so I'm originally from the Bronx, New York, born and raised, New York City. I come from like a Afro-Latina background, so my mom's Honduran, dad's African-American. So growing up, all I know is like the Hispanic and Black community. And
you said Honduran, by the way? You said Honduran?
Honduran, yes.
Okay, got you.
Yes.
Honduran,
so,
okay.
Yeah, I grew up in New York City, so essentially you see fashion everywhere. So I always knew I wanted to work within the fashion like sector. So when I turned 18, a friend of mine, she was a designer. I kind of had the business brains, and we just started this fashion line called Incredibly Dope. And we did pretty well, and like for us being 18, not knowing what we were doing. So we did so well that we raised enough money to like do our first party in Times Square.
Whoa, how old were y'all at that time?
17, 18.
Yeah. Y'all did a party in Times Square?
Yes, yeah. So
dope.
We just scrapped up all the money that we had. And for me, I knew, okay, I definitely want to work in fashion, but I can't design because it's just not a skill of mine, and I needed
Yeah.
to my business skills. So that's when I decided to go away to college to Clarkson University, and that's when I learned all about like entrepreneurship, analytics, technology,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
my eyes. And then I was like,
yeah.
wait, there's something called like analytics. Let me look into it. So one day I literally Googled fashion and analytics, and that's how I found out about like fashion
Open up the
technology.
whole new world to you. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Well, let me jump in real quick, and we're gonna get into that. Shout out to the Afro Latina community. I see Vaughn is saying me too, fire emoji. Shout out to you. Everybody, this is Coy Griffin. She is at the intersection of fashion and technology, and I'm just wondering though, like, you know, having that I guess Latin American background, is that fair to say? Like, and then being in New York, right? You have actually lived at a lot of intersections, right?
Yes.
Like, even if we don't get into the technology as yet, you've lived at intersections of fashion. Mm-hmm. And so, like, what were some of the earliest memories as it related to, like, just looking fly? Like,
yes.
You know, maybe you saw something from back home, maybe something on the street. Like, I'm just wondering, when did you first come into this realization, like, yo, this is fly and this is not? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, when was that?
Yes. Oh, my God. It probably had to be, like, my early teenagers, like, middle to high school, like from 7th, 8th grade. So I grew up, I went to charter school, so I had to wear uniform my whole life. So the only things that I could negotiate with my mom were like my sneakers, my boots, and my jacket, my coat.
Right, that's so, the outside parts, the accessories,
and my backpack actually. So
okay.
I wanted this backpack, so I was into like Nicki Minaj growing up. Everybody had this like Harajuku Barbie thing that like I think that was the first branding. And I was obsessed with this whole Harajuku Barbie concept, and it was like this bag from Nordstrom, and I'm like, everybody's wearing like North Face backpacks. I don't want that. I want to like stand out. I want to get something exclusive from Nordstrom. I didn't even know what Nordstrom was, but I'm like, nobody.
I gotta get on that Nordstrom, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
So I like begged my mom to buy this bag for me, and once I bought it, like. When I came to school with the bag, everybody was like, "Oh, what's that?" I'm like, "Oh, you know about this." You know?
I know, right? This a splat. This that splat. Don't worry about it, sweetheart.
Right. So, that was like my first experience, because the biggest thing back then was wearing something that nobody knew about or being the first one with it.
Right.
So
right.
I was always the first one with it. So then that was like my first taste. Once I saw Nordstrom, I started like wanted to get Burberry and Prada. And since I wore uniform, I would convince my mom, like, hey, let's go to like Woodbury, those outlet stores, to get it like 50% off. And then I'm like, I need a good pair of shoes. I'm gonna wear it all year. So it's like instead of buying 2 or 3, you could buy 1.
Get the high quality, quality brand. Yeah.
Right. So I would just beg my mom to buy it. And sometimes she would, sometimes she wouldn't, but that was kind of like how I got it started into the fashion thing.
Where and did you have siblings though? Like, did you ever have to deal with a hand-me-down type deal?
No, I didn't, because I had an older brother, so he couldn't hand me down anything. So it was just me and my brother growing up. Yeah. Gotcha.
That's what's up, man. You got the hearts coming in. I love it. Like, I always remember those days where I was like, what am I wearing? And then you kind of hit that age and you look back and be like, I can't believe I thought that was cool. You know, you just evolve your sensibilities. And definitely the outlets. Shout out to the outlets. Y'all know about the outlets, man, where you can get the stuff on discount. And, you know, it wasn't too hard for your parents to trip over it, but at the same time, it's still, you know what I mean, fly. It's still got the brands that you want to rock. So I definitely relate to that. Yeah. So, again, like, you got to a point when you and your friend had the audacity to start this brand. Say the name of it again. What was it?
It was called Incredibly Dope.
Incredibly Dope. All right. And what was y'all main product line when y'all launched that?
It was just T-shirts. So she is a great designer. She still designs to this day. And she hand-drawn. It was like a lady's body and a hamburger as her head. So it was very like, back in the day, this is when like Soho was huge. Everybody's wearing those bow ties, like Oxford, all these like kooky things. And
I remember.
Those shirts sold. Like, a lot of people loved it because it was different. It was like a cool body with a hamburger. I still have one of the shirts, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was just T-shirts that we started out with, but hand-drawn T-shirts. Right.
And y'all had like the branding, the activation of launching the party in Times Square, which is awesome. If y'all just joining us, Coy has did more than most of us before she even got to college. Launching a party in Times Square. I cannot do that now. Like that's dope. And so I'm really interested to know though, like, was it a point where you're like, hey, this is actually lucrative? Because like, and maybe it was later on, and you can just tell me, like, maybe it was like, first, this is fun, like you said, your partner was really creative, but like, when did like the bag really become like a real deal as it relates to your fashion interests?
Right. Honestly, for money, it didn't come to college. So
Okay, all right, so
when
take
we
us
were in
there.
high school, we didn't make a lot of money. Most of the
Okay.
money that we came to raise for the party was from like us working and
Uh-huh.
like selling the little bit of t-shirts we did, but most of it was just our like pocket money from our jobs. But when
Mm-hmm.
I got to college, I did like this. At Clarkson, they have an entrepreneurship track program. So the first year, all business students have to create their own small business and learn what it's like, and then pitch to investors. So
Right.
within that, I didn't do a fashion line, but I did like a kind of like a bodega online on campus bodega. And from there, I
Okay.
learned how to make money and how like to make a
Right.
profit and all of these
Yeah.
like nuances I didn't know before. So that's when I
Yeah.
learned like, okay, if I know like how to work with the financial part of any business, I can translate it into fashion. So
Yeah.
that's kind of how I figured it out. Yeah.
And you're like, man, this is actually, you know, a place where people can become very like successful and even financially well off if
Yeah.
they kind of hit the real thing. Yeah, yeah. And you found like a niche, y'all. This is Coy Griffin. Just to pause real quick. Shout out to everybody on YouTube watching, joining us live. This is Coy Griffin.
Hey everyone.
Yes, the young entrepreneur, fashion technologist, author, TEDx speaker, whole nine. You found out that you had I guess, affinity for this fashion thing. You
Yes.
got interested in the business part as you got to college, but then as you was about to tell us, and y'all, I want y'all to know y'all can put comments and questions if you have it. We'll try to get to it.
Yes. Please.
Yes, but Coy, you got to this point where you start understanding like analytics, which is
Yes.
analytics. Yeah, go ahead, break that down.
So data analytics can range from a variety of things. How I use it is more so within like Google Analytics, Excel, which is essentially breaking down your business and understanding what the trends are. So for example, if you're noticing for the month of July, only red shirts are selling, you are selling out, you may want to reinvest into more red shirts, into different styles, etc. So it's kind of just looking back into all of your past data trends and determining how you want to move forward in the future. So when I
Got you.
went to Clarkson, I didn't notice that was like a thing until I started like interning at like IBM and Johnson & Johnson. I'm like, oh, this is kind
Okay.
of cool.
What were
And
you doing there though? What were you doing? You weren't doing fashion at IBM, were
no,
you?
I wasn't. I was
Okay.
actually
Okay.
so at Johnson & Johnson, I was working in supply chain. So I
Okay.
was just like basically measuring the productivity of their displays at like Walmart or Target. And then when I worked at IBM, I was just a data analyst, and I would just work on a variety of different projects that they had.
Got you. Shout out to Ann. Good to see you, Dr. Ja. Everybody coming through. I'm with Coy Griffin. We getting into this fashion slash analytics slash technology talk right here. And one of the things that I feel like, and I really wanted like you to just kind of share your philosophy on this, Coy, is fashion, like what's in trends. Some of it seems to be like non-data, like it seems
Yes.
to be very cultural, right? Like it's just like something's in the zeitgeist. Everybody's wearing something. It's like, yo, this catches on, da 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 da.
Yes.
But then on the other hand, when you think about data, you think about logic, you think about formulas, you think about measuring the curve. And so I'm just really interested to know, like, first of all, where should a person try to be if they're trying to determine where the next move is? You know, should they go data heavy? Should they try to like just be in the right spots at the parties? Like how does a person even go about it? Is it possible to really even hack, you know what I'm saying, the next move? Go ahead.
I think there's a few factors. So one,
Okay.
first, determining who your audience is essential, because there's people who only want luxury items, and then there's people who are just super urban and that's it. So once you determine your customer, figure out where they're hanging out. So most of like urban customers might be hanging out like at a skateboard ring or something, depending on what market you're trying to capture. Then I would say look into who are the influencers of the space. Not all influencers have the most followers. Micro influencers with high engagement that's key because that's what people are resonating with. So that's like the data part, like it's owning into who your target is. Now, once you figure out who your target is, what people are starting to like, that comes the creativity. You don't have to follow what people are already doing, but if you're noticing, for example, that everyone is resonating with like a red shirt instead of white shirts, then just incorporate that piece of data into your creative aspect. But it's really just trial and error. What I say is try, like, if you're releasing something, try like 5 items, and then 2 of the items use it just pure with data, I guess, with a data background, like, and then the other 3 just be completely creative. So then you can kind of have room to play with what's working and what's not going to work. And then if you're doing things based off of trends, like the 2 items based off of trends, then you can make sure you're making your money back, you know? So you're not just throwing it all out there without a plan.
Nice, nice. And I guess a quick follow-up to that then will be, when you find something that works, like, should you drive it into the ground? It's like, and that thing's your money maker. You're like, oh, this is black tea, white letters. Or like, how much did you allocate towards trying to determine that next thing? Because, you know, like, nobody wants to like be a one-hit wonder. You know what I mean? So talk a little bit about that. Like, how do you try to catch the next wave when you got something that's actually bringing in a nice chunk of change?
I say make it sell out. So like when you let it sell out for a while, create that demand so that when anytime you drop anything else new, people are just so excited to get anything from your brand that the hype is already created and they're going to automatically like it, as opposed to not having a sellout item. So Telfar is actually one of the best examples of it. Even like 7 months ago, you were able to buy a Telfar bag, even though it had like a bunch of press from like Vogue and all of these industry leaders. But now, like the past 2 months, you can't even get it from anywhere. It's sold out everywhere. And this creates an even larger demand for Telfar because now, first the bags were selling out, but now their accessories are selling out. Their hats, their clothes are all sold out, where just a few months ago, it was just the bag. So I say, keep the things that are selling out, let it sell out for a little bit, not forever, just for a while, and release some new products and see how it's going. And then, like, bring it back in increments and just add aspects of what people like from that collection into your new one.
Yeah, no, you definitely see that a lot. Like when something's a hit and they let it sell out, and then like it's still in demand. Like people didn't get tired of it. And then they may bring it back with like a little different colorway or different pattern a couple of months later. Yeah, no, I dig that for real. I feel y'all. She's giving us game, and she's about to give us so much more. If y'all happen to be watching a computer, go ahead and check us out on YouTube. Shout out to people watching on YouTube right now live. Coy, I got to bring up the question my friend Vaughn asked, and I saw you, Vaughn. Thanks for asking that. She talked about how do you pick your vendors for your T-shirts, and just to kind of set this up a little bit more, like I think T-shirt is one of those good entry points for people. A lot of people began to get into the fashion game with T-shirts. And I think that picking the vendors and even like picking, partners, whether even it's a designer that you want to work with, what should a person begin to kind of think about when they're trying to determine who to work with to kind of launch their brand?
Yes, that's a great question. So when I started, we literally just bought shirts from like the people in the corner and just printed on top.
Okay.
We didn't have a lot of money and we didn't know what worked. So we had to test the products out first. But if you are more advanced and you're not trying to start with the testing phase, I recommend going to Shopify or Printiful. And these are just websites that have like the T-shirts available, and then you can just add in the image on top. So the cool thing about Shopify, this actually ties into the whole fashion technology thing that I stress. So Shopify can be used as a software for fashion. You can create the shirts, have it all mocked up with like a fake model and everything, and you can have it drop shipped. So you don't even have to deliver it to yourself, other than like the samples to maintain the quality. And they will deliver it straight to your customers. So you don't have to worry too much about the logistics stuff. Luckily, because we have technology, that's like a thing. We don't have to stress about it anymore. So then it allows you to just focus on the quality of the shirt, which they have a ton of options. You just play with the samples and the design.
Yes, yeah. And you have a first-hand account testimonial. I know you know, but I actually use Shopify and Printful as well. And I'm not even like I don't consider us a fashion brand, but I wanted to make like STEMedia t-shirts. So we have like STEMedia, and we have our STEM Success t-shirts for my summit. And yeah, that's exactly what we use.
Yes.
And it's almost like a set it and forget it. I mean, of course, if you want to grow and build a brand, you should pay attention to it. But it's like, you know what I mean? You set it up, and then like next thing you know, oh, so-and-so just ordered a t-shirt. You get that email notification. I haven't touched the t-shirt. I haven't like printed anything. And this, the person has it. Next thing you know, they're taking a picture of it. So that's pretty dope. That's really dope. Yep. All right. Yeah. So let's talk about a few things as it relates again to leveraging technology. Now, in your book, right? And we definitely want y'all. If y'all don't know, she is an author. She has a book. But in your book, you highlight 3 particular areas that at least you give case studies of what you feel as though are going to move the industry forward, right? You talked about innovative fabrics. You talked about 3D printing, a technology area, and then you talked about augmented reality. And so why don't you go ahead and one by one, just give us a little bit of breakdown on each of those areas and how you can see not only how the big brands may be using it in the future, but how someone who's kind of on the lower end starting up can start thinking about incorporating it.
Yes. So augmented reality, I referenced the examples of Instagram filters. That's one example of augmented reality. So for example, there are certain Instagram and Snapchat filters where you can virtually try on sunglasses, right? Or like a hoodie or something. That's an example of fashion tech, one of the examples of it. But it's using augmented reality, which is essentially just another like layer of photos or effects on top of your camera. So that's what makes it seem like you're actually trying on and interacting.
That's what Nipsey had. Nipsey's guy, Idris Sendu, they go into the store and they see the man running, the marathon continues. So that's augmented reality. Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. And then 3D printing. So 3D printing is essentially where a lot of graphic designers, they would do CAD mock-ups, like just a mock-up of a sneaker, for example. And then there's printers that can print out the different parts of the sneaker. So Nike is actually a cool pioneer within the 3D printing space. There's a few sneakers that have been 3D printed, or parts of it that have been 3D printed. And it actually it cuts the manufacturing time by almost half. And it's lighter. Some of the sneakers are made lighter because it's special fabrics, fibers, I should say, that are used. And one more point. So 3D printers, they can be relatively expensive if it's just something you want to experiment with. But there's something called 3D printed pens, which I always recommend. They're less than $100. And these 3D printed pens, it's similar to like a glue gun. So with a glue gun, you press the button, it spurts out, it hardens, right? With a 3D printed pen, same concept. But there's a lot of designers that are actually using it to like mock up earrings or like add like accessories to like the shirt. Because when it hardens to like a filament. So you can make like a flower out of it and then like add the metal to like turn it into an earring or something. Right.
That's dope because like, again, you can almost like, I'm just thinking of, like, let's say you have an outfit you put on Instagram and you're like, yo, you like my accessories, like my outfit. And you can make it to where a person can click on your earrings or maybe click on a bracelet that you have and automatically get like the file to their 3D printer and print it that night or something like that. Like, it just seems like the opportunities are endless for 3D printing because it's not like you have to go to some inventory or even have it like printed on demand, like you print it on demand and you can sell access to that. Okay. I dig it.
Yes. Yeah. Lastly is innovative fabrics. So sustainability is a huge issue right now, especially within the fashion industry. And there's biodegradable fabrics. So it's kind of like once you use it, it goes away. Or there's fabrics that are made from right now, I think hemp is a big thing that people are making fabrics out of. So there are just even milk I've seen, like they isolated some milk chemicals or ingredients. And they make fabric out of it. Crazy. So people are really going crazy with like finding new ways to be more sustainable. And these are things that I talk about in my book. So I just list a bunch of examples of things that were working for a lot of brands.
Got you. Y'all give us some hearts, give us some love. Shout out to people watching on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed on YouTube, y'all make sure you do. Coy is breaking it down, giving us game. She broke down innovative fabrics, 3D printing, augmented reality, and really like those are like tools for creativity, Coy. Like I feel like there are things that we've seen, but then there are things that like we haven't even seen yet, this whole experience. And I've even heard people say that like things like augmented reality, for instance, might be like the savior of retail. Again,
Yeah.
creating that experience for why people want to come to your store,
Yes.
why people want to walk in, because there are certain experiences in terms of AR that they can't get anywhere else.
Yes,
Yeah.
especially now because of the COVID era. So right now, Gucci, if you download the Gucci app, you can actually virtually try on some of their sneakers. So you just point it to your shoe, try it on, and then you can share it to social media. At least this was a feature they had a while ago. And since COVID era, a lot of people don't want to try on shoes. They're scared to try it on. So that's a great alternative for people who don't want to touch any inventory.
Got you. Yo, man, I might have to get an AR outfit one day. Be like, yo, just put on these glasses. I look fly, I promise you. do a party, AR party, where you have an outfit in AR, you have a whole different outfit. Oh man, it's just so much. We're gonna have to just spitball one day. Coy, just see if I can just kind of think crazy. Another business question though, my man Fernando asked into the comments. I saw you, Fernando. Thanks for that question. He asked, he was curious, is there a certain area, like say we're starting a business, or I'm going to start a phase, small business. Is there a certain area you would delegate first, or you would try to find somebody else to do first? Or is it something where you feel like it more depends on your particular strength? Like, what would you say to the person who's trying to determine where to focus and what to delegate?
Okay, that's a great question. As a fashion brand, there are two things that I think we should all fashion brands know the basics of, where there's just the bare minimum, and that's Instagram/Facebook ads, because that's how you're going to reach your customer if you're starting out and don't have a customer base. And then the second one is your website, your Shopify integrations, etc. So Shopify, that's what you're going to use. Most fashion brands use, starting fashion brands, they use for their websites. And if you do not understand how people are placing an order, how your inventory works, that's it. Your website shuts down and you can't use your website developer. You're going to lose a lot of money if people are looking for it. So bare minimum, at least understand how it works, how to upload products, how to resolve like basic issues, right? And if you don't understand how to do that, YouTube University will help you.
There you go.
Same with Facebook ads. It's super important to reach out to your customers, understanding who your customers are, especially when you're starting out, and understanding how Facebook and Instagram ads work is the best way for you to get started. And then you can outsource it. But I don't recommend outsourcing it without knowing the basic knowledge, because then people can just be selling you anything, and then you won't even know how it's working. So understanding how analytics work, I like to use like two things. Number one, see what's converting. So if first identify your goals. If your goals is to have people purchase or just people to visit your website, once you identify that, which KPI is important to you, then make sure your data is pointing to it. And if your data is not, figure out why it's not working. Maybe the links on your website isn't working. Maybe you should link your product on Instagram. You're not even linking the product. The customers don't even know. So identifying what your KPIs are and identifying why it may or may not be working.
Dope. Y'all give her some hearts, give her some love. She is, y'all. You ready. Whatever question y'all got, y'all drop it in there. She's definitely going to give you a thorough answer. Coy, I love what you're sharing so far. You're giving us a lot of game. We still got some more time to go, but here's what I noticed when you just gave that answer, right? You talked about understanding, your marketing, your ads, how to get to your customers, and also understanding how to like basically fulfillment, like how you're going to actually deliver the product. What you didn't say though was design, which leads me to this question, right? Like, does a person have to be able to have some design skills in order to launch a fashion brand? Or it could be something that they just completely like outsource? Like, what do you think?
You can 100% outsource that whole process. Most of them, like the startup designers do. You can go the route of wholesaling, just finding the designs you like that are already produced, buying it wholesale, upcharging, or you can go the route, once you have like the vision in your head, you can contact someone either on Fiverr or just asking fashion friends around for like a pattern maker, someone to create like the sketches and stuff, and taking you through that whole process. There are a few manufacturers that do that for you. And if you can't find it out, I like to reference all designers who don't have design experience but may have a little more money to Cala, CA.LA. And
Hold on, slow down. People, she just dropped that. She just dropped the jewel. You said Cala. What is that now? Say it again.
ca.la. So
What is
if
it?
you, Cala. So if you just type it into just put Cala fashion, it'll pop up. So essentially, it helps you with the entire process of creating your design, finding a manufacturer to shipping it out to your customer. So investing in this software can be quite expensive, but if you have no idea what you're doing and you want to make sure it's done correctly, I would definitely recommend that platform for that.
Got you. Did I spell it right? Is it? Okay, it's the second one.
ca.la. Sorry. But,
Okay, my bad, y'all. Y'all need to get that. Awesome. Shout out to the Black Math Academy. Good to see you. They say I read a Black woman who uses mathematical equations to make design patterns for her dresses.
Ooh, interesting.
Pretty cool. Yeah.
Look into that.
Nice. This is lit. I love it, Ann. Thank you. So we got a QA. Y'all can put a question in the Q&A. But how much analysis? How much of the analytics are math oriented? Like, does a person need to brush up on their math skills before they get into this? What would you say?
No, I'm not the best at. I'm not like a math wizard. I don't pretend to be at all. It's really just understanding how trends work. If you look at it that way, it helps you understand the number. So, for example, anything that's positive, then it might be a good thing, but then you have to understand the context of it, right? So, for example, something that's positive is something selling out. If your goods are selling out, that's great. But let's say you have a bounce rate. A bounce rate is if someone enters your page and then leaves within like a minute or two, you know? And if you have a high number of that, that's not good because you want people to stay on your website, right? You don't want people to leave. So it's all about the trends and how relative it is to what you're looking for. So I would recommend for anyone interested in understanding the analytics side to just one, like YouTube, like Shopify Analytics 101. Shopify has a ton of resources to help you with that. And then move forward. Or you can always like ask me a question and I'll be glad to help you guys.
Yeah. You teach, right? Like you've done courses and stuff like this, and you've done done classes. Go ahead. I know we usually do this at the end, but go ahead and tell us, like, what do you do as it relates to helping people in this area?
So I actually did a class with fashion. Okay. Can you see me? Yeah. Okay.
I see you. Yeah, froze for a second. Go ahead. Cool. You did a class?
So I did a class with the Fashion Scholar, which is an online school based in the UK about fashion analytics. And essentially, this school is super awesome for anyone who's interested in the fashion industry, but don't want to go back to school to like learn about it and learn some actionable insights. And in this class, I cover like the bare basics of like Google Ads and Google Analytics. And I'm actually hosting classes in November to teach people the basics of like different fashion technology tools, because I get questions all the time about how to use analytics to tell trends or fashion and all these things. So that's all coming soon. Yeah. Got you.
All right, y'all can drop another question in there. I'm trying to see. I don't know how to move to the next one. It's stuck up there. I'm definitely gonna get it going in a second. But here's what I want to ask you though, real quick, as you continue to talk. I want to add to the fact that I feel like patterns is huge, right? It's all about patterns, right? Being able to sort the patterns. You said, notice the trends. There's patterns as it relates to design, but there's patterns as it relates to people behavior, human behavior. You know, what are people doing? And I always feel like here's the question that this is really a general entrepreneurship question though, right? And that is when you start knowing a pattern that you don't quite like, right? And it's like people not selling, you got a high bounce rate. How do you begin to know, right, that my hat store isn't just like it? How do you know if it's the fact that nobody is not rocking with my hats, like nobody's not feeling them, or I haven't quite optimized things appropriately yet? Like, how do you know it's where you need to sharpen your strategy versus, all right, forget hats, let me do something totally different? You know what I mean?
Yes, that is a great question, and I struggle with that as well. So I follow a lot of different people and like who are experts in those areas. So I follow like a social media maven who every day drops a tip on different things to do on social media. So like, for example, if my hats aren't selling, maybe it might be the way my posts are set up. So by following the tips, it allows me to try different things to see if it works or not. So I look for, so social media is one thing. Second is like photography. It could be the images of your photo. Maybe the lighting is bad. So I also follow like a photography specialist who drops gems all the time.
Got you.
So like whenever I'm on my Instagram feed, I'm seeing like different tips or different things that I may not have thought about that I can improve on. And if they're not, after I did all the changes and executed all my free resources, then it might be time to one, get a brand consultant, or two, try to just change up your product and see what happens. But I say try to find people that specializes in social media, photography, even website optimization. Follow them online because they're always dropping free gems, and then try out try out the tips that they're offering. And if it's still not working, then you might have to like change the strategy.
Gotcha. So basically try all that first before you just conclude, oh, I'm not meant to be a fashion designer. I'm not meant to be a hat seller or a teacher. I got you. All right, y'all. I need somebody else to ask you a question. Shout out to the Black Math Academy for that question. I need someone else to ask a question because I'm having a hard time removing it from the screen. And we definitely want to get more questions on for Coy to answer this for us. But Coy, again, like how long though should you give that time period though? Like, does it need to last, a few months? Do you have some sort of like, if I don't sell 10 by this phase, like, are there any rules of thumb as it relates to just, again, actual metrics for what's working and what's not in terms of moving product?
Right. So I say there's a few things. So let's say your product doesn't sell for a while. It was selling in the beginning because all your friends and families bought it, and now it's not selling, right? The issue might be your target audience, your friends and families, 9 times out of 10 is not your audience, not your target audience. So maybe you weren't reaching your audience that you needed to, and you really need to rethink your marketing strategy. Go back to the business board. But if you're not selling at all from the gate, not even to friends or family, right?
They're not even feeling it.
Right. That doesn't necessarily.
Your mama don't even want it. Your mom don't even want to buy it.
Right. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad. Okay.
Yeah.
Your friends and family just might not get it, especially if you're from a smaller town and like your idea is outlandish to them. It might resonate with like a city person. But so what I would do is reach out to whoever you think is like your particular target audience. If there's like a bunch of influencers or a type of person, we have Instagram. Just reach out to them and just say, hey, I want to send you this free product just to get your thoughts. Or hey, I'm thinking of like altering this a different color. Can I get your thought? Or just anyone.
Right.
Try to form a relationship first. Don't just randomly DM people. Well, you can to see what happens, but I would suggest forming a relationship first and like say, hey, I like your fashion. I'm thinking of this. I have this hat that might match this idea. And then reach out to those people while everyone's telling you like, nah, like this might not be it. Then
this ain't it.
Like, you might just have to alter it a little bit. But I say give it time. This can range from like 6 months to a year. If you don't sell one item in a year, then I would definitely go back.
That is tough. Like, I feel you. One item in a year. And shout out to people who still holding on during COVID, because I know that like some irregular patterns probably came about. I know in our business it did, but you're right though. Like a year is enough time to be like, all right, somebody, especially if you're doing like you said, you're trying to optimize your website, you putting some ads out there. You got to pay attention to that stuff. I love it. Yep. All right. Shout out again. Another good question from Black Math Academy. What is some bad advice to avoid when started up? Like anything you hear and you're like cringing and like, nah, don't do that. Don't do that.
Right. The one thing I hear, okay. So this one's like, I agree and disagree. So the one thing I hear is releasing too many products at once, right? Is a bad thing. So I think that depends the person. If you are a person who already have engagement on followers, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. But if you are starting out, then I kind of agree, like releasing a shirt, keys, a hat, all these other things.
Man, where you at?
Yeah,
got you.
If you are somebody who has an audience already, who like loves you and adore you, releasing
right.
will be like honestly pretty good because you already know it's gonna sell out. So that's one thing
Right.
I hear often, that, and a lot of people they generalize, and I think like celebrities do it all the time. They release shirts, hats, and everything, and it sells out. And most
Right.
influencers or people with an audience can do the same thing.
Gotcha.
Another piece of advice, bad advice that I hear is, especially for design, is maybe like sharing your process a little too early. So sometimes designers, when they're starting a fashion brand and starting it out, they get so excited to share to all of their fans, like, I'm releasing this I'm working on this cool idea, like I'm about to release this. And then
okay.
next thing
Got
you know, when you're starting a fashion line, it could take 6 to 12 months. It could take about 6 months because a lot of the process is faster now, but it takes a while. So if you tell your friends or your followers today, I'm releasing a fashion brand, but you know it's not going to release until 6 months from now.
You too early.
Way too early. Just way too early.
Yeah.
And especially
I got
when
you.
to social media, everybody wants it right now. So
True.
You don't want to seem like you've been working on it even though you have been working on it forever. You don't want people to know that you've been working on it forever before the release date, because then it kind of feels like you're dragging it out instead of like.
It's that timing, that sweet spot. You want to get anticipation, but you don't want people to like get anticipated and then like forget about it. And then you come back and try to say,
wasn't that from like 2012 that you said you were going to do that?
Right. Yo, that's how it moves, man. That's how. And Vaughn, thanks for asking this. She says, what's next for you? Maybe get a preview. What's coming up? Let us know what's coming down the pipe.
Yes. So this summer I started like these fashion tech talks, and I partnered with the school, the Fashion Scholar, based in the UK, and we're actually introducing this digital fashion tech summit this December. So this digital fashion tech summit is essentially going to talk about all things like 3D fashion technology to how to manage your social media, and we have some really cool speakers that we've been working on within the fashion technology space and digital space. And I'm super excited to share it with you guys. I'm going to release some posts later this week, so make sure you're following me to find out. But yeah, that's like the biggest thing that I'm working on.
Yeah. You already know we rock with you, STEMedia. Let us know what we need to do. We want to be a part of that. Y'all need to make sure as soon as she dropped that info, you sign up, man. This is a season for so many great summits and so much information. Like if you want to start a fashion brand and you want to get game, like you will have no excuse after this summit. So I'm really excited to hear that, Coy. That's awesome. Yep. Yeah. Y'all give her some hearts, give her some love. She's been dropping some real game. Oh man, I finally figured out all right how to move that. So what do you have like now though, Coy? Like thank you for giving us a preview. Like if a person wants to like go and find out how they can support you right now, or how they can kind of continue the process, the relationship, where can they go?
Yeah, so right in the link, you can actually go to my website and purchase my book, Leveraging Tech, which is a Fashionista's Guide to Fashion Technology. I break it down in simple terms. It's like less than 50 pages about what fashion tech is. A really quick read, because I didn't want to bore people with these with the technology lingo. I wanted really to make it short, sweet, and simple. And I've been getting great feedback about my book. So if you go to the link in my bio, you can purchase the print version. Or you could just DM me. I'll send you the link myself. But yeah, that's how you can support me right now. And then, like in November, I'm going to release some courses to teach people all things fashion technology. So that should be coming up really soon.
Yes. At Coy Griffin _, right?
Yes, at Coy Griffin.
If you're on Instagram, you can go ahead and hit it in the top corner. But if you're on YouTube, make sure you go over to Instagram and follow her. Are you on other platforms as well?
I'm just on Instagram for right now.
Instagram. Okay, got you. No, that's what's up. Go to Instagram, Coy Griffin _ buy the book, sign up for the summit. I hope y'all enjoyed this as much as I have. I have to be honest with you too. Like, not that I had low expectations, I had high expectations, and you exceeded them, Coy. Like, you brought even more value. So I really appreciate you sharing all that you have. And so this has been fantastic. I just absolutely want to affirm you. You already know we're connected. So if there's anything, that I could do, please just don't hesitate to reach out. And I look forward to those courses. Maybe we could talk some more about how we can collaborate on things like that too, because I think this is such an interesting and like it's futuristic in many ways too. Like this area of fashion and technology. And so your company, your own creativity.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about the company real quick. What's all under the company? YOC.
So right now, yes, YOC. So right now under the company is my book, the courses that are coming out, and I'm also releasing consulting. So I am doing consulting already, but I haven't released it publicly because my clients, I'm full. I have no more time. But I'm gonna open it up publicly later this year because I am offering fashion brands like a whole fashion tech kit. So teaching fashion brands how to leverage different softwares, how to leverage different digital tools and assets to really streamline company. So this is what I'm doing now, but I definitely want to get it out to the public as I continue building my team. Got you.
Y'all, well, there it is. There you have it. Coy Griffin. She's told us all she had going on. And Coy, we have to, get some of your wisdom, just some more. You've given a lot of practical nuggets. You've given us your story. You give us even some wisdom in your story. But before we say goodbye, we got to get some parting words of wisdom. It can be a quote. It can be, something you've heard, something that you've received, whatever it is, right? Give us something to take with us just to close out this awesome chat.
Yes. My quote would be, your path is your own. It's your path. So I'm in fashion technology, which is a niche space, and there's no path for me. I didn't know what I was doing. So at times it was very hard for me to figure it out, to go, because I didn't know which way to go. There was no one to kind of copy off of. So I had to constantly remind myself, this is my path, and with that, I created myself. So with that, everyone, remember, your path is your journey, and don't always rely on anyone else to tell you what the rules are.
I love it. Listen, you spoke to me with that, Coy, and I know that there's somebody else watching this that you spoke to. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for spending these moments with us and sharing all that you have. Y'all make sure you go follow her. You can go and watch the replay, not just here on Instagram, if you're on Instagram, but on YouTube. Again, shout out to the YouTube audience. And I think I'm going to have to review this, Coy, and take notes next time. I didn't have my notepad with me, but next time I'm going to have to say, all right, what do I need to do with my Shopify? Bounce rate. Let me look at my bounce rate real quick. So I love it. So there you go. Y'all give her some love. Give her some love on the way out. And again, connect with her. Coy, thank you so much. I hope you have a fantastic week. And we'll be in touch for sure.
Yes, definitely. Bye, everyone.
Yeah. All right. Bye. Thank you. In case y'all didn't know, I just want to remind you, STEMedia Live is brought to us by the STEMedia Network, STEMedia.com. We're going to be talking about how Coy can maybe bring some of her nice courses over there, Coy. We're going to have to talk about that. So, again, go follow her. Go to STEMedia.com. And you could also get a free 30-day trial. We have exclusive podcasts, interviews, videos, and courses are on the way. Again, thank y'all so much for hanging out with us on STEMedia Live. We do this every Sunday evening at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific.